We're going to do some more Eberron cover art. Fonts came along nicely. I'm happy enough with them to let them at least be a placeholder for further contemplation. If push came to shove, I'd let them sit as is. I'm not sure if I'm done with the conversation with them yet or not. Checking my signal. Not sure if I'm... Sounds like the signal is good. Hey, okay, great. So my name's Phil. I'm Phil Kearney. I make books. If you want to see some of them, you can check the description down below, the DMsGuild. Books I produce are 100% preview, as though you were picking them up off the shelf at the, in a bookstore or something, if anyone ever went to a bookstore. So you can see what my books are like, and if you like them, you can either get some of them, pay what you want, or you can buy them at a discount. So cheers. There's also my Twitter down below, which I just posted that I'm live on. Give me a second here. Mabar, cover art for crystals of Mabar. Adventure for Eberron. And that. I am now just jumping into Discord here real quick, and I'm just punching my signal like I do to give folks shouts outs that I'm up and running. DMsGuild, Creator Lounge, and Indestructible Designosphere, and Trent Monk Temple, Drive Through RPG, Mothership, Dungeoneers Pack, Classes and Constructs, and Zipperon, and who else do I hang out with? And you should watch too. Cleric Corner and Rich Mary, Fry Minis. There's a lot of great stuff. Hold on real quick. Let me go. Beep. There we go. Copy and paste. There we go. Almost done. Fry Minis. The D&D Mothership, and the Eberron Discord, Keith Baker's Place. So, cool. Okay, great. I got all my signals boosted, and now we can get into the art of it. Let's see where we're at. Let me push the window capture and the PS command canvas to the background. That way, you guys can see the menu stuff that I do. If I use in the OBS, if I just if I project the image that you see, this is the window capture, which represents this over here, the layers tab, and then the PS canvas is this space here. If I bring those to the foreground and make those all you can see, you can't see when I'm tapping on these menu displays. But like I just demonstrated, if I push these to the back, then you can see them. So, verifying. And yeah, there, yep, see. I'm not crazy after all. Checking my mic, making sure I've spun my mic around differently. Not that you can tell or matter, but there's this hook effect that my microphone has, and I had it facing me previously, but I swapped it around, so it's now a cradle where I can rest my forearm while I'm tapping on shortcut keys on my keyboard, and that brings it a little closer to my face. It's like literally this far away from my face, so hopefully that's going to register a little bit better and it'll probably still be echoey. It might actually end up being more punchy, so I'll have to take a look at it when it's done. Where'd my mug go? There it is. Sunday Fun Day! New mug my gal got me. She returns from the wilds this week, later on today, so I'm getting some streaming now while I can. Geez, it's only 7:30 here in Seattle. That's great. Got off to an early start. Let's set a timer. and have that pop every 20 minutes. That'll give us a pace for us to be able to continue creating along. So, okay, great. So if we're okay with the fonts for now, and we are okay with the fonts for now. What we started on last night, on stream was adding in this cool skull effect. This is the size, again, if you're familiar with my channel, you'll know this, but for new folks that are indoctrinated, subscribe, like, share. I build books online, I paint them, and I publish them. You get to see the whole thing being done, and then when it publishes, it's 100% preview, so you get to read the whole thing, and its final product is just gonna have sample as a huge blotch on every single page. So purchase to support. I'm not going anywhere anytime soon unless God chooses me. So we're gonna have some fun. Let's see, building a skull here, and it looks like I just feel like yeah. Nope, the skull's not gonna get in the way. So I'm gonna futz around a bit more up here in these corners. I think I can bend them a bit. I'm gonna duplicate this layer so I don't screw it up in case I hate it. And I can do this. I can bring this stuff down. That may end up reading really well. It's why I love that letter. Except I hate that dot. Sometimes it goes like ga 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 ga. Sometimes it goes like ja 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 ja. That's why I love that letter. G. All this is now garbage. Trash. Nah, it feels better already. So I'll be around for probably 2 hours, if less, maybe less. Probably 2. I think 2 hours. I think I can do that. And I'm gonna just we're at futzing stage. Well, I still have 2 characters to build down here, and I need to reconsider how they're sitting. And I think I want to finish that skull first. So I'm going to just mess with the skyline here a little bit, and then we're going to go into the skull. And we'll see about repositioning characters and then adding more after that. That'd be the last. That's the last elements that need to be added. Those characters. So once those are in, we're just doing detail work, detail. And I may be able to get the characters because the characters don't have a lot of detail. So I may have the characters and all the detailing done by. Boy, Monday night is Eberron production art period. That's I've got a lot of projects, but Eberron is 100% on Monday nights, so that's awesome. It may be, it's not gonna be done this morning. It may be done. I only have like a couple hours to stream this morning, but I have probably until 2 o'clock to actually work on it. So I've got another 5 hours of production on this after the stream is over today. So I'll be able to make some significant progress on this. Whether I'll be streaming it or not is a different question. I think I'm gonna take some of that back. I think I like something more like this. Coffee's coming on strong this morning. Delicious. Hey, man. It's you're in you're in a really rural area. Is that right? Do I remember that correctly? Are you using a satellite, or do you have some sort of a landline? Yeah, I think. I don't know. Maybe I like this side better. What's this one? Whichever side I like better in the end, I'll cut in half and then drop onto the other side. Right now, I'm feeling like this side's gonna win. I'm tentatively excited about the rest of the content here. It's hard for me to figure out how many art assets I'm going to actually need until the editing is done and I start doing layouts to see what kind of gaps open up. But I think there's a number of character handouts that I can do no matter what. Like I can no matter what have an illustration of the Eye of Mabar. No matter what, I can have all the flora and fauna as little vignettes, as illustrations of what the stuff is that people are encountering. The different monsters, I can have vignettes for each of the monsters, whether necessary or not. I could do it. Obviously, the maps are needed, so that really should be my focus after finishing this. Because the maps aren't done. The black and white maps are almost done, but there's no reason for me not to have color for the VTT unless I just don't want color. And to me, that just feels like I'm being lazy. So I need to at least take a stab at doing a full color map. It's going to end up well. I'm just intimidated because I'm kind of excited about turning out well. I've learned recently, and you may find this is true for yourself or not, so consider it. That fear is pent up enthusiasm that you haven't figured out how to apply yet. Like when I see somebody publish something that has anything to do with an idea that I'm working on and that I'm excited about, I get scared. And I get scared when I see them become successful, because my fear is, well, what if I see this, but I still love what I'm doing. What if no one else does? And then that makes me scared, because I hope that people are going to get what I'm building and become excited too. Excited like I'm seeing them excited about this other product that's selling well, that's like maybe tangential to what I'm working on. It's like, ooh, there's obviously a market for this. I hope all these people understand what I'm doing, and that's not just some influencers audience buying into their stuff because they ask them to, because it's really hard to tell sometimes. Like, are you a nobody that has great ideas, or are you an influencer that put out a piece that your followers will purchase? So it's kind of hard to tell sometimes, but that excitement that I feel is like, oh God, I think there's a market here, and I hope that these people show up for my product. That fear that I feel is me excited that they will, but not sure if they're going to. So it's like uncertainty in something you're excited about. Like you want to talk, like you think that person's attractive and you want to talk to them. So you want to walk up to them and you want to say, hey, and so you get scared not because they're frightening, but because you hope you're excited about what might happen if they're into you. So the fear is that excitement, but not sure what the outcome is going to be. So I don't know. See if it's true for yourself. Maybe I'm just talking out of my ass. So I'm trying to learn that when I'm afraid, it's not what am I afraid of, it's what am I actually, what's the best way to word it? Like, what's a good question to ask myself when I feel that fear? What do you hope will happen? Without being sarcastic. Like when you hear someone say, what do you hope is going to happen? It's almost like you're, like in media, like in movies and stuff, it always sounds like you're being chided. Like, how dare you dream for something bigger than what you have? Like, that's the feeling that comes across when you hear it. How, like, what do you think was going to happen when you bloody blah? Like, when you walked up to that person, what do you think was going to happen? It's like, wow, what a really snarky, horrible thing to say. But if you ask it beforehand, before you crash and burn, it's what do you hope will happen? And that way you can preset yourself to encourage yourself to maybe get that result that you want. Like, what do I hope happens with this book? I hope people love it. I hope people are excited about playing it. And I hope I get feedback from folks about which hooks they used, how they liked it, and what they did with it. And then I hope they buy more of my books. So like that's my ultimate hope with this book, that people get it, that they're excited to see the next one, that they buy it, and they want to see all the related work that's coming out for it. So I hope that this is a respectful representation of Eberron as a world. I hope it jives with the headcanon that's popular right now in the Eberron fan base. I hope it resonates with them. I hope it does its job. So that's like my hopes. So I don't have to be afraid of any of those not happening. I can just hope that any of them do. And I can still feel the fear inside of me, but it doesn't hurt me. I can recognize that it's trying to cling on to any of those and it doesn't know how. It's like, it's okay, baby. You don't have to know how. Just do the work. Just do the work and let the how figure itself out. Because heaven needs foot soldiers, and they need cannon fodder to take the hits. The hits of hope that fall on the wayside as reality comes to be. And if you have enough hope, then you're going to find something that's coming true. That's, I guess that's the message from heaven this morning. Enjoy. What I go say is I'm about from the origin town of the Mothman. Oh, that's right, Mothman. Pretty out of nowhere. Oh man, it's like 2 roads past the biggest ball of twine. I keyed. Yeah, that sounds. Yeah, so like, it sounds like you're on satellite. Maybe you have ground wire, but they're copper. The only fiber optics you have are what you can see on your shirt. Man, I'm gonna grab some more coffee real quick, and we're gonna compare those two things. I think the one on the right looks better. So I think I'm gonna go with those, but I don't want to be too hasty. I'm gonna give it a double check here real quick. Put some more coffee in my mug and flump back down for a Sunday. I normally don't do things on Sunday. My gal's out of town hunting, and she'll be back this afternoon. I am not outdoorsy at all. I like this. I like this lighter effect, but I like this fade better. Maybe I can. That's an oak. There we go. Maybe I can steal some of that back in here. Get this eyeliner going. What you're talking about. It's pretty hard to tell the difference from here. Eesh. Wow, that's rough, dude. Thanks for trying though. I do like the asymmetrical shine though, from what I can see. Yeah, this one's better. I don't know. I like. I'm going to use this this right hand side and transpose it to the left. So I'm just going to focus on that. And I think this is about where I want it to be at. Yeah, and then I'm going to want to have some of this tree. I'm going to want to have some more of this tree pop out. Yeah, I need to occupy that space. All right, we know we need to occupy it. We'll probably be able to fish out some tree work or some crystal stuff. Maybe some crystal stuff might be fun up there. We're gonna work on the skull next. That is our current project equals skull. So I'm gonna just focus on the left side. Actually, yeah, I want to go back in here. And grab up some of this. Let's switch to this. There we go. No, not like that, Kearney. No, too much, Kearney. Too much, Kearney. Imperfections. Hey, 20-minute timer kicking on. Now restart. Good. I do like to see this magical shine though, from what I can see. Holy. Oh, he's microfutzing, folks. He needs to stop. He needs to stop the microfutz. I like how that's capping now. Pretty good footers. I like those. I think this font turned out really good. Might actually keep it. There we go. Let me try harding on these fonts. Bevel them edges. Bevel them edges. And when we, once we've settled that this is the proper font to keep, then I can come back through and clean these up more significantly. I think I'm kind of just wasting time here, which means I am missing out on something. Save and cool. All right, back to the skull. Now that I'm satisfied with whatever the hell that all was. Let's be smart and duplicate the layer. epic. Just trying to get that futz right. Clank. I can make each of these. Like I'll mirror this over to here once I have the eyes and the face rough structure in. I can mirror that over so that I'm content with how it's framing, and then I can go through and I can play with this flaring stuff a little differently. I'm mouth breathing again. Gotta watch yourself there, Kearney. Got some nice fresh Kona coffee. Stuff is slamming. Ah, it's less sinister. I need to get that sinister back. It's the details that get you. I'm trying to figure out how to integrate this. Here's where we started, and I don't feel like this has made much progress over this. So I think I'm going to go back to this, duplicate, and see what do we need to keep here. First off, definitely want to clean this up. Am I on screen? There I am. Yeah, right on, man. Hell yeah. Always a challenge. Forever a struggle. I think I'm going to leave this. I think I'm going to leave that as is for now. And I think I can blend that a little rougher. I think I need to retain a more choppiness to this one. I think overproduction on this skull is going to end up making me regret any effort invested into it. So I'm going to try to leave it as raw as I can to still work with it, just sculpting it a touch instead of micromanaging it before swapping over to the other side. Like such. I think I'm going to do. Now. I think I can grab this tool. Thank you. And do this. Transform. Flip horizontal. There, now I can go in individually and futz with the parameter. So we're going to duplicate again here. Trying to trim those edges. I tilt my head like a parakeet when I'm working on these curves. These little flare effects along the edge. Futzing going on here. Lots of futzing. Pushing pixels. Quiet futzy time. Sorry about that. I could probably drop a sphere tool on here and make this easy work, but that's I'm just trying to improve my skill set like everyone else, so I'm futzing through this manually. Good. All right, so let's see. trying to get the smoke to interact with this branch of leaves without feeling unnatural. I'm having issues with. I'm going to rewind back a bit. That's where it started. Okay, well, this is where we started. So what happens if I just pull this back a bit? Maybe that's everything that I needed. To lessen instead of more. Yeah, that looks like that worked. Cool. Some flares. Things off. I can probably lighten up this fog for make it interact a little bit more with that foresty, the tree branches more. I think that'll help break up the texture over here a little bit. I'm not sure if it'll be enough though. Not quite there yet, but we're approaching that point. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that skyline. All right, so back to the flames. My buddy says, boo. Hopefully that's not going to lead to tragedy. Oh, yeah, tragedy. Nothing. I was having some issues. I was having some personal issues. They resolved. I'm kind of having a zony morning, so I don't know how entertaining this stream is at all. I know it's quiet, and sometimes people like to I've had friends on that are painting minis and stuff while listening to me not talk and just quietly tap at keys. Oh man. I am really trying to let go of this curve over here, but I really don't want to let go of this curve over here. There we go. I think I can let go of it in a moment. There we go. I feel like you can be proud of that. Pretty good. Come on, buddy. You gotta let me go at some point, friend. Break, contemplate. Oh, God, that's so good. All right, I'm going to refill my mug real quick, and then we're going to hit the other side. Oh, man, that's good. All right. We're going to get back into it here. Hey, how about the timing timer? All right, that's our first hour. So far, so good. 4th. Oi to the Vey. I am futzing so hard on this. Just can't pull myself out of this loop. Whew. At least it looks good. Oh. You know, it's really interesting how there's so many variations of how 5e art looks depending on whether you are looking at official books or homebrew. Well, I mean, yeah. Wizard spends I think it's around. They commission card art. Each piece of card art I think is anywhere from. I think it's around $2,000 to $3,000 per card, depending on. I'm not. I think significance or like complication or like whether it's a land or other type of card. I'm not sure exactly, but I think there's some variation. And I know that Piezo pays. God, last time I checked, Piezo paid about $500 per full page of book art, and they're about the same amount of art space. So there's a pretty, I mean, Piezo's second place when it comes to commission rates for official RPG companies. Wizards of the Coast is first. I think their page art comes in somewhere around, I want to say it's around $1,000 per page if it's not a cover, and like $4,000 if it's a cover, if I recall correctly. I think that's a few years old. It may have changed. But there's not huge money in doing RPG art, but that's the top tier. So like if you want a quarter page, are you willing to spend $100 to $250 per quarter page on a product? Like the expanded monster manual, that new one that most recently came out on DMsGuild. I don't remember the exact title, but it had like a $20,000 art budget. So, and it's good looking art. They obviously invested money in each page, like a lot of money in each page. So it comes down to an issue of, can I do the art myself, and can I have the results that I want with the art that I can produce, or where can I find art that's affordable for me? And a lot of people turn to free stock art from the Smithsonian Institute, and it's because that's all public. No copyrights, like they can get it and modify it. And then you got people, like us that are building art from scratch, and then from there there's variance and skill and experience. So whether you're willing to pay for it or not, versus whether you can produce it or not. So. Like I'm about $800 per page. That's typically where I end up dropping rate into, with limited licenses, meaning like you can commission me to use a page of art for your book as much as you want and promoting that book as much as you want. But if you want to own that art so you can use it over and over again in other products, it'll cost you an extra $400. So it's $1,200 per page for complete license usage, so for commercial art. And then like commissions, like a page of private commission is like $500. So that's generally where I sit on my rate, which is a lot higher than like a lot of other artists need to charge, because foreign countries or college students or whatever having different demands on their time and their skill. So everyone's different in that effect. So most people get the best looking art they can for the least amount of cost, unless they're producing it themselves, and then they're producing the best art they can for the time they're willing to invest. That results in a very wide range of art and styles, depending on whatever they can get their mitts on or what they're capable of producing. So yeah, I honestly like it. I mean, Wizards is setting the standard for themselves as industry leaders in fantasy artwork already. Status already gained from Magic the Gathering, right? And I mean, their 3E artwork was pretty cool too. But they obviously don't invest nearly as much into Wizards, into D&D as they do into Magic, which is a shame. I wish they'd integrate those two IPs a little bit more. But that's something I will constantly harp about forever. There needs to be more D&D, and there needs to be more MTG in D&D. Period. Others will protest. forever futzing along the edge of this stupid planet. Moon, whatever. Frustrating. I get myself trapped in these things. There we go. Then they have a setting recently that was basically the 1920s Art Deco, or am I missing? Oh, that was New Capenna. Streets of New Capenna. Yeah, for MTG, definitely. It's yeah, they have cars, and there's like a drug called Halo that's illegal that everybody wants. So it's got that. What's the word? The prohibition sort of mobster feel to it. That Halo is a juice that you derive from the divinity of angels. That's why you call it Halo. They like basically bleed angels and drink their blood and convert it into a heroin sort of thing. And I forget the bonuses that it provides, but it does some sort of mechanical effect. It's like an artifact juice sort of thing, if I recall correctly. And it's got, like Strixhaven, it's got 5 major factions, and each faction represents 3 colors. And I think they're ally colors, so like red, green, and white, and then green, white, and blue, and then white, blue, and black, and then blue, black, and red, and then red, green, black, red, and green, and then you're back to red, green, and white. So those are the 5. I believe those are the 5 colors that they went with to represent the 5 like major factions that control New Capenna. And there's cars, you know, as vehicles and stuff. So there's it's not Neo Tokyo or not Neo Kamigawa with like mecha and cyber chips and stuff like that, which is like Shadowrun level of tech magic. But those are both in the same year, so that's a tech sprawl you got going on there. I am processing stuff inside me. There's a large surge happening in my heart. It's and I keep going back to the mistakes I made as a manager in Arizona when I was running a call center. And I can feel it bleeding in my heart, because it's something that I feel bad about that wants to be forgiven. So I guess that's what I'm doing. What is this artifact that's going across the screen? Oh, that's the background from the clouds. Interesting. I'm gonna have to fix that in a moment. I didn't realize that line was there. Oh God, this is unbearable. There. Universe, fix this for me. Thank you. Thank you. That's a hell of a task to waste a divine intervention use on, but you gotta have the universe do it for you. You gotta have the universe do it for you. Looks like we're doing okay. So now it feels like it's swollen over on this side. Ugh, this is ill-fated. This is an ill-fated endeavor. I'm gonna do this. Oh, all right. So then we go in here. That doesn't feel right. No, yeah, it was totally, yeah, totally. Yeah, I'd skewed it. I overworked it and then ended up breaking the sphere. So I have to be okay with the imperfections. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm back to the beginning now, but this time I'm confident with the shape of the sphere. So it was worth the trip, even though it took a good 40 minutes to get there. It was time well traveled. So I can hopefully mesh this down with a gentle smudge. Pop this one up a bit here. A sharper smudge effect. And we're right back to dealing with this tree. At least, see, all that distraction was because I didn't know how to deal with that tree, so I ended up pulling myself around to the other side of the picture to avoid it. And now we're right back to it. I do need to fix that middle bit, though. There. I don't want to futz with it too much. I'll get back into the same problem I was in, but I'm gonna hit the save button now while I can, before I really punch myself in the teeth. There, that feels much better. They can make recognizable shapes without super thick line art. Astounds me. I'm basically incapable of drawing things without making super dense line art for them. It takes a long time to be able to master contrast. I have the advantage on that because I don't see any colors, so the only thing I have is contrast. So it's easy for me to do shape recognition because the only way I can function is by having that dichotomy defined along that edge. So I started off with line art, and what you'll find if you follow the same path of discovery that I had, what you'll discover along the route is that you're using the line art to not only define the form of the object, but to also fake it like lighting on it. And you'll see comic books, the inkers are masters of manipulating this, that they'll use a very thin line in a highlight as a highlighted area to minimize the line so that it's only expressing form, but then thicken the line as you pull back in the page into darker space, where they can use just blotches of black to represent deep shadow. And as they pull out of the deep shadow into a curved transition into light again, they can use a thinning line, thicker towards darkness, lighter towards the source of light. Again, manipulating that form, but the thicker shadow, the thicker line is both adding to the form, the space that it fills. And the other thing that I discovered in that process is that when you're doing image recognition, sometimes you're looking at the space inside of the line, and other times you're looking at how the object fills the space outside of the line. So you're informing your negative space, the environment around the subject, by the outer edge of the line space. But for the most part, we define the object, the subject that we're looking at, by the interior of the line. So the thicker the line is, the more you're actually separating that object from the rest of your composition. You're specifically pulling it away. Like it's something you're intentionally overlaying, like a collage. So your art will always feel kind of like a collage. You have to have a line to distinguish that one subject from another, separate objects in space inside of your canvas. But you'll find a higher level of reality depicted in your illustrations when the line that you use to distinguish the shapes from each other is the same color of the interior space. Like a red jacket will be a red jacket all the way up to the border, but then you have to pick a background color that defines the space. It's not the outline that's defining the jacket, it's the color red that defines the jacket. And like say it against a blue sky, so you'll have a transition from blue is one pixel and then red is the next pixel. But you can manipulate transition from one object to the next by using like a red blue, like a purpley or a violet blend on that edge to define that red object is being affected by the saturated blue sky that's hitting on the edge of the garment. So you can have like a single line, like a very thin line of purple that can transition from the red coat into the blue sky. Unless you want to have a hard cut because of the way that the lighting is, in which case you want to have it red all the way up to the last pixel before it jumps to blue, and you may even want to use a darker red to further contrast against the brightness of the blue, assuming that the blue background is brighter. So you can get rid of the line that surrounds each object in your illustration, like the black line or whatever. You can start by changing the color of the outline that you use to blend better with the object inside of the line. So if you start thinking about, when I'm doing outlines, I'm going to use a color that's complementary to the object inside of the outline, so that that outline can start feeding into the object I'm trying to pull your eye inside of. Then you can start manipulating like a fade. You know, like you can have the hard edge of what that outline is and then fade it out into the interior pixels of that space, if that makes sense. So you can work on transitioning from there. If that's something that you want to do. You could very well want to stay with a line art style, which is great if that's the style that you want, but the message that you just provided indicates that you're looking for a higher level of realism in your art. So you can either go ultra graphic and lean into the fact that you're using that line to manipulate separating objects in the composition from each other, while also using light, keeping a comic book feel on purpose, because that's the art style that you're going for, versus a more realistic painterly feeling, which is where you need to start really getting good at manipulating that pixel line and that fade in, and using color as your outline, like I was just discussing. So those are the two paths that you kind of go down. Either go towards realism or pseudo-realism, or God forbid hyper-realism. Or you go to a graphic style. Obviously, artwork. It's not supposed to be mistaken as like a painting. It's comics, because you're doing a graphic effect. And knowing what kind of style of work that you're building on helps decide what style you actually want. So if you're going for like a speed racer sort of thing, then where's that line coming from? I've got this. I've got a line in here somewhere that I detect. There it is. I don't know if any of that made sense, but that's the. There is a line going on in here. Uh-oh. Wait a second. You popped when I did this. Okay. There. Yeah, I was right. Luckily, it's an easy fix. There we go. Blah! You can. I mean, those are. I sort of slid into a strange hybrid form between realistic lighting and shadows, but my line art tends to still be super comic book style. Yeah, those two styles will clash until you can reconcile it. There's nothing wrong with having having hyper realistic art. Well, I'm going to take that back. There is something wrong with using hyper realistic texturing and hyper-realistic lighting inside of line art. It's going to clash. It's going to, like, if you get really good at texture and lighting, when you drop an outline on it, it's going to feel like you're outlining an illustration, like you're overlaying the outline. It's not going to mesh with it. The style that you develop for yourself has to be one where you are. It's the resolution of that dichotomy that defines your style. How much line presence do you have in your illustration versus what kind of lighting effects do you use? Yeah, the texture, lighting, and proportions are basically like the three major tenets of of style in illustration. So if your texture and like so your line art is, your texture obviously is texture. It's like how you express if something is smooth versus rough, if it's bubbly versus flat. That texture is partially informed by your lighting, and your lighting is partially informed by the line art, and the line art is again defining one object from the next. So as you learn to resolve those three elements to a place where you like it, you're going to create a form that's hopefully it's going to be aesthetically pleasing, that creates cool results. So it took a long time for me to be able to transition from away from line art while being able to have enough good lighting effects in my character to properly to not make it look muddy or hazy, you know. Like it's like if you don't have a well-defined line that separates an object from another inside your composition, it has this kind of haziness to it, like it's low resolution. And that happens because you're not properly separating objects along that pixel line from one from the other. You're not using either enough variance and lighting of light and dark, or you're not using a color that contrasts enough. But the contrast is ultimately going to come from light and dark. The value, you have to have a sharp value break between one object and the next to make sure that they stand out. People with color vision will often use the same value across two different colors, and it still ends up looking muddy. You know, when you pan back, it's the contrast that's going to pull the elements out of the picture, not the color. The color, as I understand how color works, and this is all academic for me, I don't actually know, bear in mind. But as you pull back, your eye tends to blend the different colors that are inside of a space, where they may separate into separate colors as you get closer. The further away you get, it just kind of blends into the same space. So it breaks down to light and dark, like light inside of the skull flare, dark outside of the skull flare. But when you get up close to it, you can see that there's actually like leaf colors and this different degrees of flare inside of there, but you can't see it this far away. This far away, the only thing you have is dichotomy. And so when you're building your piece, when you're zooming in here, you want to make sure you have a well-defined line here. Like here's really well-defined, but it's not really well-defined here. It's really well-defined here, but not so much here. But when you're panning out, that differentiation disintegrates. It gets absorbed by the lack of resolution. So if you're while you are evolving your art style, you can try to think about if your goal is to reduce your line weight, you can pan out like this, and like, how is the shape that I'm building in this composition without the outline, how is it filling that space with its own interior color that pulls it forward from the rest of the composition? And that's how you can keep that shape. And that's why I'm futzing so much along these edges, is that I want to make sure that I'm properly, like out here it looks pretty good, but when I zoom in, you can see like this is out of balance, this is muddy. So I want to make sure that's looking good at all levels. And like the base thumbnail should always look good at this far range, but the more you zoom in, the more you need to make sure that the details work, so you can keep those different lines of integrity. I don't know, I'm kind of rambling a bit. I don't know if this is making any sense or not. Hopefully it makes a little bit of sense. And I know you got like a minute lag on you, so it's kind of a disjointed conversation, but hopefully that makes at least some sense. Oh, here's the thought. We are 141. Let's do that. Maybe if I start time stamping stuff in the conversation, maybe it'll make it easier for me to go back and pull out pieces. Since that was the conversation we were having last night about like how I can. It was last night, recently, and it may have been with Don't when he jumped on Tyler. I'm not sure. Sorry, everything blurs on me when I'm doing artwork like this. It's hard for me to remember who the hell is saying what, and I want to apologize to everyone that invests time with me that I'm that horrible. But having said that, and apologies aside, there was the conversation about pulling shorts and snippets out of these long feeds, so these long feeds have better purpose other than just being production and accountability streams. So doing little timestamps like that maybe makes it easier for me to go in and clip out, pluck some clips to make shorts out of and stuff, that I can gain some extra value without having to eat into my production time so much. But they're going to be rough because they're not scripted and not planned or anything. But hopefully they're useful enough to be able to pull conversation nuggets out of. Man, I feel like I'm just breaking this thing. Ultra futz mode engaged. Ultra futz. Oh my god, I'm futzing so hard on these edges. Ugh. So we're talking about it and it's making me critique myself. I'm like, that transition could be smoother. It's like, you be careful, Kearney, because you wanted that rough chop. You be careful not to kill the spirit. My problem is that I overwork an image. Like my sketching is incredibly expressive. I acknowledge this and it's a strength, but the transition from sketch to polish kills so much of the emotional kinetics that are inside of my sketches, that it's like my gal keeps trying to push me into a conversation about not doing color artwork, interior artwork, to just do sketches like a sketchbook and not invest so much time in color, to leave the heavy compositions like that to commission work and to book covers. And I know she's making that suggestion because it helps me process artwork more quickly, mostly because she wants to run around with me more, and God bless her, I love that. But she's not wrong in that the color artwork takes forever, and I love when I fall in love with a project, like the Packs and Patrons, for example, is a good example. I put color artwork in all of them. Like every color illustration, every interior art piece is color illustration. It's because I fell in love with that piece in the middle of the page layouts, and so I did when I realized that I need to put a guild symbol in on each of the patrons. During the process of me creating those guild symbols, they ended up being color compositions, and I'm like, oh well, now I just want to have a consistent look throughout the entire project, and then I got pulled into doing full color for everything, and I ended up loving almost every piece in there. Some of them are better than others, but that's always going to be the case. There's always going to be standouts. So, and I'm not happy. This is very dangerous. Futzing around with this like this is dangerous. I recognize it. It is risk. I am creating a different, I'm risking a different type of texture clashing with this because of the way that I'm smudging the pixels is less chaotic than the actual, the original smudging of the clouds themselves. So I'm risking it standing out weird when we pan out. but it's really bugging me that there's a lack of consistency in that highlight, that haziness. I'm not liking it. So I'm sitting here and I'm grinding on it. And now when I pan out, yep, it looks broken. So that was a huge waste. And I need to go back. I've got 50 undos, and I think I've hit them. Oh, just about. There we go. Now I can come along here. That should do it. That should actually fix it. That should actually fix it. That helps. Yeah, that helped. I'm going to save as $10.01. And then I'm going to close that. I'm going to come back here. I'm going to open 829. I'm going to reopen 829. Pre-futs. Post-futs. Actually, let's do it like that. Post-futs, pre-futs. Post-futs, pre-futs. Post-futs, pre-futs. Post-futs, pre-futs. Post-futs. Pre-futs, post-futs. Pre-futs, post-futs. Pre-futs, post-futs. Pre-futs. The only thing I'm looking at here is along this edge here. Post-futs. Pre-futs. Post-futs. Pre-futs. Post-futs. Yeah, post-futs is worse. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and keep the pre-futs. And we'll just keep on keeping on. So that was worth my time? Question mark? Right, this is where we're at. We were talking yesterday about clipping stuff. Yeah, that was it. Yeah. It's okay. It was the line weight of this edge up here. It's slightly inconsistent and it's a little choppy right here and here. You might not see it, but like you can see, like there's a mild transition of line weight here, like the highlight behind that black line. That line of separation, it's denser here than it is here. It's denser here than it is here and here. So there's a mild inconsistency. And so when you pan out, it makes the wine waver a little bit along the edge. And that was something that I was attempting to smooth out, but I recognize that path is madness. So that is not the solution. That is not the path to go. Leaving it be is probably my best solution for now. And if I really end up needing to go back and mess with it, then I can. But it's only destroying my time. It's a distraction that I don't need to invest in. That's interesting. Yeah, I'm okay with those inconsistencies. And this is where I expected to have been working. This is where I thought I was going to be pushing pixels like an hour ago. So that was all that wandering around. I know it was good for the piece. I know it was necessary, but it's not the path I intended to be on. And it's 9:30. I've got probably about 30 minutes left. Probably. Yeah, I got 30 minutes left, and then I'm going to jump offline. I'll continue the composition, but that's all the time I have allocated to actual stream time this morning. So it was a bit tangential. A little more wandering around, a little less productive than I wanted, but I think it was time well spent. It had to get done. I was going to end up futzing on all that stuff eventually anyway. It's just I didn't expect to futz with it here on stream. I thought I'd be able to avoid it and process that stuff off screen. But I guess it's as important to log, the losses and the challenges as it is to show the cool processing. So that's I guess that's one of the real benefits of hanging out on a stream. So let's see the struggle. The struggle was real. Struggle was real. Occipital Ridge. I think that's what it's called, the Occipital Ridge, or is it ocular? It's not ocular, I'm pretty sure. For like that inside edge of the eye socket. I believe it's called an Occipital Ridge. I'm not sure. Right now, I'm trying to navigate. Is that the right word? So when I pan out, I need to make sure that this is still looking like this skull effect overall. While when I zoom in, it's making sense inside of this area for this piece of the composition. So I'm currently trying to balance the dichotomy here. See, like this is a useful line weight for when we pan back, because it helps further define the edge of the skull, because your eye is catching again that highlight is the edge of the form we were talking about, and it's actually just more wispy smoke sort of effect at this point. Like at this point in the composition, this is fog. Up here it's more like fire, and here it's like swirling energy. So I'm trying to navigate those different types of energy or matter. I'm trying to convert this mass into those different types of energy expressions, while being able to maintain the form of a skull when you pan out. See, I've trimmed so much of the fog around the eye at this point that it's looking like an upside down Mickey Mouse, less so like a skull. So I've trimmed this too much. So I have to come back into here and add some of this back in, ironically. So it's actually that stuff is necessary to retain the narrative of this being a skull when you zoom out. So if I get rid of that, I realize I was on the wrong layer and I hate myself. Let's go back. There. This is where I'm supposed to be. See, there's more gap fill in here because of this smudge work, but I got rid of a lot of that smudge work there, so it's creating more of a clean line here, as opposed to here. Your eye is filling in this outer edge, so it looks more skull-like. Over here, it looks less skull-like. So I overworked this in the endeavor of separating this tree from the effect. I eliminated the skull effect in the process. So now I have to look at where does this tree actually exist in the composition, and the answer is side trees right here. So this is where it's actually at. And how does that compare to the moon? And then here's the fort wall. Heroes. Here's front fog, side trees. Okay, so I could theoretically drop all of this between hero, front fog, and side trees right here. So let's try doing that and let's see what happens. Let's try doing that. We can try leaving that there. What is this? More of that. Go with. No, wait. Don't need to find. Thanks though, sport. We'll go with sky fog. Dressing, sky fog, skull. I'm going to package all this and we're going to call it skull. And now we're going to drop skull behind the side trees and see if we like that. Maybe I do. Maybe I do like that. So we're going to let that drive the picture for a bit. Maybe. It's kind of distracting though. Let's do that. Crew, I feel like I'm overheating in my robe. It must be a warm day. Boy. Fade that in. Let's see how this goes. Just futzing around. Hit save now while I can. All right, I got another 20 minutes. Yeah, right on, man. It is Seattle after all. What is it? Record high today. Holy crap, really? 62. Well, that doesn't feel like it's supposed to be hot. But I was in layers. Long sleeve shirt. Thick towel. I feel like I can use this space here to create like an object of some sort. Like inside of this space here, like, you know, like whatever this is supposed to be. Like I feel like that can happen, but I'm not sure what it is yet. But like this feels like there's some sort of like negative space thing that's supposed to be hanging out back. I don't know. I think when I start reworking the characters, I might find what that thing is. I'm not sure though. And I want to make sure I don't overwork this area as well. And there can't be any symmetry here, so I have to work each side separately. So I have to have a decent idea about what the hell it is that I'm actually doing here. I'm using the image of a wide-brimmed hat wearing an investigator type adventure. Might be like carrying a long smoking pipe or something. Right on, man. Dig it. We'll see. Ridge down. There we go. Don't know when I became such a mouth breather, but I'm not happy with it. let's introduce this here. Squibble some color onto there and smudge it in. See if that produces the result that I want. There's a hollowness that I'm not liking that I'm trying to fill into the composition here. It's like all that AI art, you know, like it looks cool at a glance, but the closer the more you look at, the more you can see, oh yeah, there's like all sorts of like fucked up shit going on. Like what's up with that anatomy? You know, like it's AI, I have no problem with people using AI art. I think it's ridiculous to buy AI art. Like, I mean, why would you spend $15 on a piece of, you know, on a piece of, I mean, if that's what you want to do, then I guess more power to you. It just seems silly when you could just be using that same AI software to produce results for yourself that you don't have to pay someone else to do. But I guess if you have money to throw away and you really want the image, then I guess you can buy it. I think AI art sales is more of a mafia front than a legitimate business effort, personally. Like it costs literally nothing to produce the images, yet you can charge whatever you want for it. Like, it's a perfect front. It's a zero labor cost thing. You could pump. Well, I mean, if you start pumping millions of dollars through, you know, Twitch.io or you know, OBS buying AI stock art, chances are a flag is going to go off somewhere and someone's going to notice. But I'm just saying, it's like there's no motive in spending money on AI art when you can just press those buttons yourself. It's kind of like, why would you, unless you need something specific, why would someone pay for a picture of a forest when there's like a million of them that are for free? Like, if all you need is a tree in a forest, like with ground, like you don't need to commission someone specifically to build that for you. You can just grab stock art from anywhere that's either free or part of the subscription of whatever it is that you have. Like, you don't need to pay someone for that. If you do, it's probably because there's something specific that you need in the composition that you can't find in stock art, like a dryad coming out of it, or like a group of adventurers using tree stride or whatever. Transport via plant, I think, is what I intend to mean. But you know, if it's literally just I just need a sunlit glade, it's like, yeah, there's like a billion of those that are for free someplace. All I gotta do is just like look up free forest art, and then, you know, there you go. So the idea of paying for AI art is just stupid. In my harsh opinion. But again, someone's working a hustle and they're trying to make money for themselves, and chances are there's some place where a single stock art purchase is a significant, like, it's ridiculous for me to think that I would make and package and then sell AI art for like $1 or $2. You know, like that's an outrageous idea. But if my household, if my standard of living only needed, instead of $3,000 a month, it only needed $300 a month, then yeah, that actually kind of looks like an attractive idea, and I have enough software power and enough of a connection for me to actually be able to execute that idea. So, you know, everyone's working a side hustle. I get it. So it's not so much it's not so much the seller, it's the buyer that I'm chastising. But they're not my clients anyway, so I don't really have a horse in the game. There's like a lot of freelance artists that are really kicking up a lot of dirt about AI, and again, it's because they're threatened. It's that fear effect coming back in that we were talking about earlier. It's they're excited about their own prospects of being able to create art, and this is something that they're identifying as an obstacle to them accessing what they're excited about, and so they're fighting. From my perspective, this is great because like I could like do this, and I could like come over here and I can like click on make better. and it'll take this composition and it'll like, here's some detail iterations you might consider, or like, here we made this a little bit more spherical for you. I'm like, oh God, thank you. It's like, I want an AI to be able to do that. I want to be able to do something like this, and like block this and like resolve this for me, and like it renders this all up into a higher resolution, whatever. Like, I want AI to be able to do that for me inside Photoshop, that I can literally click the make good filter and it will make it good. Because I'm good enough at throwing out sketches and photo bashing and stuff that I can create a cover composition and like the idea of this in like an hour or two. I can build this idea, but it's all the rendering. I'm no longer an artist. I am now just rendering pixels. I am a rendering machine at this point. I want an AI to be that render machine for me so I can get back to creating neat ideas. So that's where I think the tech is going. I think that's the overwhelming desire of the industry as a whole. I think that is where we are going. So I'm happy about that idea. So I'm gonna do that because this is all garbage. This is garbage. And this is garbage. And that's all trash. Drop my opacity down to like 30. So when I push the pixels, it doesn't push them anywhere, it just blurs them out. The opacity setting here, the strength of your smudge brush is here. Determines basically how far you can push a pixel with each brush stroke. Like how much of the pixel color is going to carry to the next pixel when you use the smudge brush. The higher percent strength you use, the more color gets pulled to the next pixel. So that helps me control the cloudage and like peeling things like these artifacts over here. I can probably pick those apart if I can get up into the sky fog. I want to have like a really low 20% resolution so I can smudge those out. But if I had like a 50% resolution, it would create a line like that. If I went all the way up to 90% resolution, it would create a very strong line. So that's inappropriate. I just need to have like around 20% so that I can, when I push pixels around, it doesn't look like a horizontal line. It doesn't look like a path. It just blurs it out. So smudge, that's what the smudge tool does. That's what you do. I'm just smoothing. Apparently I'm smoothing that all out, so I'm waiting to do that. Just smooth this out. That's where we're at apparently in this piece. The happy little Death Elementals. That's feeling better. There we go. Resolved all that business finally. Very large brush, very low strength. Just evening out everything in here. Just making it smooth. There we go. What are my side trees doing? I wonder. I wonder. Do I like that? Sky fog in front, sky fog behind. Hey, I hear you, buddy. All right, I can stick around for a little bit longer, probably. Hot take? Oh, you're talking about the smoky bit down here, right? Feel you, dude. That feels like decent framing. I think that's decent framing. Yeah, I think the trees can successfully be in that position. I think this is the right stacking order, having the skull in front of the trees and having the trees in front of the sky fog and the back fog. I think that's the right way to do that. I think that's proper stacking. I think I can fill in this area a little bit better. I feel like I can take, I feel like I can take these things, put them, I feel like this and this can probably go here. Nope, cannot. Okay, it's gotta stay where it's at. All right, we're gonna leave it like that. Gonna leave it like that. Goofball. this piece, duplicado. Just gonna blur that out a bit. I think I'm feeling pretty good about that. I'm gonna up that to 60%. What is it? It's 10 o'clock here in Seattle. All right. I've got what? I've got a few minutes left on my timer. I have 14 minutes left. So I'm going to stick with those 14 minutes and I'm going to be done. So this is my last 15 minutes. And then I'm going to keep working on it, but I want to be available for phone calls and coordinating my day with Miguel. So I'm trying to minimize personal life while I'm on stream, you know? Personal preference, I guess. I'll probably get over it eventually, but I'm not yet, so here I am. Just gonna work this in. I'm gonna do that. Spread that out a bit. Blend, 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 blend. We blend. Blend, 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 blend. We're blending. We're blending. Hey. Does feel right. Okay, so let's do that. There we go. No, I don't think I like that. I don't know if I like that either. Yeah, the more I work this foggy stuff, the less I like it. So right now I am contradictorily, despite that, I am currently attempting to rework the fog just a bit so it's a little more transitive along the edges, and then I'm going to try just leaving it the hell alone and see how that works, and then get back to work in the rest of the composition. So there and back again is basically what we're doing here with this piece. It seems to that seems to be the best way to make this thing a thing. I do like those teeth though. Brr! Do not flatten. Merge down instead. Thank you. Merge visible, flatten, and merge down all next to each other is a terror. Sometimes I accidentally do that. That's when I know I'm way too freaking tired to be working. I've destroyed entire documents by accidentally merging down. Or a merge visible or flatten image. Like flatten image is easy to catch, but like when I have a ton of folders that are not visible at the moment, sometimes when you merge visible, it doesn't become immediately apparent. That's just a nightmare. So that's just me saving a lot down here. Mirror. I think I can probably All right. This is our wrap up. All right, we're gonna log out here in a minute. I'm just gonna futz with this for a second, and then I'm going to we'll end stream for the day, and we'll see how far I get for tomorrow, and take whatever is next. So just pressing. Not bad. Right. There we go. That's the right size. So far, so good. All right, so this is where we're going to cut it, and I will be back. Let's see. Next stream. This is Sunday. Next stream is tomorrow, lunchtime, probably like around 12:30, I reckon. We'll do Martial Powers lunch Monday, and then Monday night, tomorrow evening, we will be back with more Crystals of Mabar. And if this isn't finished by the time we get to Monday night tomorrow, then we'll finish it. If it's finished, then we're gonna get back into mapping. We'll be doing Overland map, and then we'll move on from there. So this is where we're at. So far, so good. I'm pretty happy with this. Yeah, I can see where I need to futz with some stuff, but I'm pretty happy with how things are coming along so far. So I will see you guys on the other side. I really appreciate you hanging out with me. Like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, check out my books in the description down below, and drop me a shout and say hey. I'll see y'all on the other side. So that's me. Bye-bye.